Hello, my 11th grade class. This is going to be a weird week for us, unless you're in my first and my second periods. If that's the case, then it's going to be business as usual. But if you're not in first or second, I will be absent on Thursday. I have a doctor's appointment that I couldn't reschedule, so I'll be taking the day off and taking care of that. And I will be expecting you guys to learn asynchronously. So there's no Zoom call, no meeting on Thursday, but you will be using that time to work on your own. And so carefully watch this video because I go over all the tasks that we're doing this week. And, I will admit there's quite a bit. So make sure that you're paying close attention. And if you have any questions, make sure you reach out to me before Thursday so I can help you ahead of time. Like usual, our assignments are due on Mondays. So make sure that you do everything that you can while also still maintaining your special interest blogs and making up late work if that applies to you. So this is what we're doing this week. Okay, so on the home page, looks a lot like this. You'll go to modules. And remember, I'm looking for my teacher version here, but that's because right now I haven't published this week's lessons, so we wouldn't be able to see it otherwise. So by Sunday night, you should be able to see all of Lesson 3. I should have published that out for you. And Lesson 3 will be focusing on Aurora Levins-Morales and her poem titled Child of Americas. And so you'll want to start off at the first page. And the first page, it reminds us of the questions that we've been focusing on for the entire module. How can we balance individual concerns with community values? How can we belong to various communities simultaneously? And what are the things that unify or bind a community together? Okay, and our learning goals for this lesson, we're going to demonstrate our understanding of arguments, and we're going to be able to identify claims, evidence, and reasoning. So we're doing what we've been doing. And you guys have a lot of practice with this. And none of the assignments that I'm giving you this week are especially hard, especially because most of them we've done before. So still, if you have any questions, reach out to me and let me help you. That's my mom calling me at a perfect time. Okay. So, first things first, we have a short presentation, and this presentation you'll go through and it'll discuss arguments with you, and it makes a major claim here, and that major claim is that all language is an argument, and that for some reason or another, when we make language, it's motivated by something. All right, next up, we have a short paragraph. You've done this before with Dr. Martin Luther King, and you'll do it again. You are given 3 different quotes, and you are going to respond to one of these quotes, one of these lines, one of 7 ways. Now, I'm going to go ahead and open this and just show you again. We've done this before. This should look really familiar to you. We've done this, we've done this. So what you'll do is up here, you'll highlight one of these 3 quotes that you want to focus on, and you will pick one of these strategies. I never remember to turn my phone off when I do these videos. Do you guys realize how many times I've had to stop and start a video all over again? Because of my mother. It's always my mother who knows when to call me. Urgh. Okay. There we go. Now you can't hear it anymore. Okay. So, you'll pick one of these 3 quotes to highlight. You can choose either I speak English with a passion, it's the tongue of my consciousness, a flashing knife, blade of crystal, my tool, my craft. You can choose Spanish is in my flesh, the language of garlic and mangoes, or you can choose Europe lives in me, but I have no home there. And so what you'll do is you'll pick one of these quotes and you'll highlight it using the highlight tool. And then down here, you're going to pick one of these strategies, and you will also highlight this strategy. And let's say we want to interpret it. Let's say we want to rephrase the quote up here at the top and interpret it in our own words and expand on the meaning. So what we'll do is we'll highlight that by using the highlight tool. Now, with the first activity that we did, I noticed that a lot of you guys were using more than one strategy to create your paragraphs, and I'll encourage you to do that. If you want to use more than one of these 7 strategies, that's fine. But you need to show me that you know what you're doing. So if you decide to interpret, but also maybe make a compare and contrast, just highlight both strategies so I know that you're using both of them. All right. I mean, you guys would be surprised how many of you guys use the agree and disagree strategy along with the connect with that last one. It was really cool. But just show me that you know what you're doing. And so you'll write your response paragraph over here on the side, and you'll come back to Canvas and turn it in, and you should be good to go. Okay, so this is the poem that we'll be reading this week. Okay, this is Child of the Americas by Aurora Levins Morales. I am a child of the Americas, a light-skinned Metsia of the Caribbean. Is it Caribbean or Caribbean? It's Caribbean. Pretend like I didn't do that. A child of many diaspora, born into this continent at a crossroads. I am a U.S. Puerto Rican Jew. I am a product of the ghettos of a New York I have never known. An immigrant and the daughter of a granddaughter of immigrants. I speak English with a passion. It's the tongue of my consciousness, a flashing knife blade of crystal, my tool, my craft. I am Caribbean, island grown. Spanish is in my flesh. Ripples from my tongue, lodge in my hips, the language of garlic and mangoes, the singing of poetry, the flying gestures of my hands. I am of Latino America, rooted in the history of my continent. I speak from that body. I am not African. Africa is in me, but I cannot return. I am not Tiana. Taino is in me, but there is no way back. I am not European. Europe lives in me, but I have no home there. I am new. History made me. My first language was Spanglish. I was born at the crossroads, and I am whole. So what you guys will do is you will read this on your own and you'll interpret it on your own. And then if you go to the next page here, you'll see if you're struggling here with understanding any of the vocabulary or any of the meaning behind this poem, I encourage you guys to flip through this next presentation because it'll go over it. And it explains what everything means. Okay. Up next, you will summarize the activity, or you'll summarize the poem with this activity. And so what you'll do, I'll go ahead and just open this and show you what to do. All right, so you'll read the poem again, and here it breaks it up by stanzas. And in case you guys forget, a stanza in poetry, it's kind of like a paragraph in poetry. And so like it's a clump of lines together that are broken up by spaces. And remember, a line is singular, a line is only, one thing. So what you'll do is as you read this poem again, you're going to choose 2 words or phrases for each stanza. And so, for this first one, maybe this is a new word for me. I've never used this before. And so I'm going to copy that and I'll paste it right here. And remember, if I use the right click tool, I can define what this word means and it can explain it better. So in Latin America, this is a woman of mixed race, especially one having indigenous and Spanish descent. And so I can write that there. And you know what? This word seems new to me too. My Spanish is really terrible, so, please forgive me. But I'll put that right here. And I can also define this to better understand it. And so, this refers to the dispersion of Jews beyond Israel. And if you guys have read that slides presentation from the earlier page, it goes over that. And so what I'll do is I'll go through the whole poem again and I'll copy and paste these important words. I might want to highlight them over here as I'm working through to make it easier. And then when I get to the bottom, what I'll do is I'll share those words that I picked up from each paragraph. Let me make sure there are 1, 2, there are really 5, but I'll just do the first 4 paragraphs. And then what you'll do is you'll write a paragraph summary of the excerpt using 4 of the essential words or phrases that were listed above. And just make sure that when you're writing them out down here in the paragraph, you either underline or highlight the new words that you're using so I can better identify them as I'm grading. And so we've done something like that before too. So I'm not really worried about you guys. Okay, up next, this activity is pretty fun because we're looking at the melting pot theory that has been floating around in education for a long time. And if you guys have ever heard America referred to as a melting pot, it's a metaphor showing that, you know, if you come to America, you'll get to intermingle and mix with so many other cultures of, you know, immigrants, that, you know, America kind of becomes its own thing. It's like a pot of stew, where, you know, all the ingredients are mixed together to make something that's delicious. And so, you know, there are a lot of academics in today's day and age who would argue that we are not a melting pot, and that the world right now is so divided and, you know, critical of each other, that the melting pot might not work if we're using that to describe what it means to live in America. And so we'll make a copy of this. So you'll also have this activity to do too. And here you'll see that there are 3 images that you can consider. So would you describe America as a melting pot? Would you describe it as a salad bowl where, you know, each culture kind of mingles? It's still very distinct, colorful, it's very unique, but, you know, they all add and support each other? Or would you describe America as more of a mosaic, like a work of art that is made of a bunch of different tile pieces? And so here's the poem again. And so you'll reread it, and you'll highlight 3 pieces of evidence from this poem that would support whatever claim you're making. So if you think America's a melting pot, you will go through here and highlight the evidence that supports your theory on America being a melting pot. If you think America is more of a mosaic, where, you know, people are more individual and add color in their own little spaces, you'll go through here and you'll highlight evidence that supports that. And then for step 2, you will explain to me which of these 3 images you believe in, and explain how this evidence helps support your understanding, your visual representation of what it means to be in America. So I think this is pretty fun. Let me know if you guys have any questions or if you need any help with that. Okay. Now when you're done with that, you just have one final discussion. Remember, you'll respond to the prompt. And the prompt for this one, based on what we've done so far, you will answer one of the essential questions, and you are going to use topic-related language. And just like we've done before, you're going to tell me what task, what tests, what studies, what personal experience have you had that, you know, help you answer this question up here. And you can pick one of the 3. How do we balance individual concerns with community values? How can we belong to various communities simultaneously? And what are the things that unify or bind a community together? We've done this before, but this time I want you guys to focus on the poem and what we've learned in this latest lesson. Also, don't forget that you are responsible for responding to at least 2 other classmates. And then when you're done with that, we'll get ready for the test. And I don't expect you guys to do that this week, although if you want to work ahead and get this done and out of the way, that'll be good for you. But this is just a review showing you what we've learned in all the different lessons. And, you know, it color codes it so you really understand what skills we've gained and where we've grown and how we've adopted the standards. And so then you'll click next, and this is the test. And the test should look really familiar to you because we've done something like it before when we were reading about Dr. Martin Luther King. And so you have an option here. You have 2 options. Now if you go with option A, what you will do is you will be given a text. And so this is a piece of persuasive writing. And you are going to read this persuasive writing, and you are going to pick one of 2 ways to respond to it. You can either use a claim evidence reasoning chart, which we've used before. We've used this before in the last lesson. Or if you like the analysis paragraph better, you can write a paragraph. And guys, this is really important because this is going into the grade book. You want to do a thorough and complete job on this assignment because this tells me how well you can understand claims, how well you can identify the evidence that supports claims, and how well you can decipher what the reasoning is and what the relationship is between claims and its evidence. So, you know, please, please, please put your best effort forward on this one. Okay, so that's the first option. Now you have a similar option for option B. For option B, you're going to pick your own text. So you're going to go scour through the internet, you are going to familiarize with different news websites, and you're going to run this by me first. This is why I'm giving you guys some time to do this. If you want, you can find your own article, your own text, and you can submit that in for your analysis. And you'll do the same thing that we're doing up here. You'll either do a claim evidence reasoning chart for the text that you selected and that I okayed. Guys, it's really important that you don't just pick any text and run with it. But if you are going with option B, you need to run it by me first. I have to make sure that that article is good enough. So, you know, I do encourage you guys to find your own articles. I think that would be more fun, especially because you'll get to read about something that you enjoy. But don't just pick it and run with it. Make sure you run it by me first. And you'll either do a claim evidence reasoning chart for that, or you will do the paragraph. And so it's the same as option A, except with option A, I give you the text to read, but with option B, you pick the text for yourself. And so this isn't due this week. This is not due on Monday, September 28th. This is going to be due on October 5th. So you have 2 weeks to do this. Everything else, it will be due on this coming Monday. And so remember, if you're not quite sure what's going to be due on Monday, please, please, please come over here to the calendar. And let me look at this as a student so it looks a little cleaner for you. You'll come to the calendar and you'll see everything that is due on Monday, September 21st. Okay? Oh wait, no, sorry. On Monday, that's due September 28th. It's not there. So hopefully that'll be there when I upload this. Huh, that's a little concerning. Oh well, I'm gonna go figure out how to fix that. But if you guys have any questions for me, let me know. Reach out to me by email. You can send me a message, or you can just talk to me during our Zoom calls that we will be in together before Thursday. So yeah, just let me know what you need, and have a good week. Thanks for watching. Bye.